Hello everyone, this is the daily devotional video for November 14th, 2016. The passage for today is in Matthew, I forgot to look it up. I'm really on top of things today, wow. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6, verses 7 and 8. Here, okay. Which says, verses 7 and 8, okay. But when you pray, do not use vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Therefore do not be like them, for your Father knows the things you have need of before you ask Him. And that is it. And in case some of you don't know or might be wondering about the same part about do not use vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think they'll be heard for their many words. There were people back then that were I don't know whether they were Pharisees or whatever, but they would use big fancy words and eloquent speech and would almost as if they were putting on a big show when they would pray. They would make sure to pray in front of people so they could be seen praying. People think, oh, what a holy man he is because he's praying and he's using these fancy words in this eloquent manner of speaking, and he's, and God's like, don't do that. Don't put on a show when you pray. Don't do that. It's not necessary, and so I want to make sure you guys understood that part of what was being said in that passage. So, the title for today's devotional is God Knows Your Needs. I remember once watching a mother and marveling at her mastery in handling several energetic young children. It was an amazing sight. In the midst of a whirlwind of activity, this seasoned pro intuitively met the needs of her kids. A meal was served, spills were averted, noses were wiped, shoelaces were tied, hugs were distributed, all at the same time. Clearly, such a parent knows the needs of her family, even when the children cannot express them. Sometimes it's difficult for us to think of ourselves as children. When we see little ones running around, always needing something from us, we cannot imagine that we often look and act the same way, only in grown-up bodies. Fortunately, we also have a parent, that's capital P, a parent who already knows our needs. And yet, we frequently act as though we must explain every detail of our problems to the Lord so He can get a more accurate view of how to provide for us. Isn't it strange? If you asked most Christians whether they thought God was all-knowing, they would respond, of course. However, if you listen in when they pray, you would probably often discover long, complicated explanations of why they need His help. God does want you to talk with Him about what is on your heart. But at the same time, remember that your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. That's from our passage today, Matthew 6:8. Therefore, do not spend all of your prayer time repeating yourself or explaining everything in unnecessary detail to God. For a change, Simply ask Him to speak to your listening heart. Remember, He's already got the answer. Give Him the opportunity to share with you. I love that. I love that. I hope these social videos were a blessing to you. I hope they encourage you. I hope that you will use this time, write down the verses I read, and go over them and pray over them. And God loves you so much. I'm going to go ahead and go. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.